Jansen.
It's been a fun time here for the last couple minutes.
How's your day been? We've been scrambling so hard. I haven't even had a chance to ask you. How you doing?
It's been good. I have been busy all day.
Okay.
And I think it's just rolling into the ramble stream.
Well, now it's time to slow down, enjoy a sip.
Yeah, it's time to slow down.
No. Whiskey, not Swedish fish.
I was just telling Richard, everybody, that so we've got some bourbon in this glass, and then I've got my Swedish fish energy drink in this one, and the roller coaster that my taste buds go through after drinking one right after the others is crazy. It's crazy. I don't recommend it.
Is it treating you well?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Good.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ramblestream number 85. We have a pretty packed program this evening, so we're going to try and move right along.
Yes.
We got lots of things to talk about, news, updates,
all the
things. And so we'll roll right into it. We can talk a couple of kind of good comments coming up here.
Yeah, we can go through the comments here. I was just checking to make sure that you guys could hear us, and I believe you can. Let's just start from the bottom here. Felix Brothers here, Halcyon 450 number 120 and 121, sipping on a Blue Lake Brewing Alpenglow Hazy Double IPA. Cheers. Watch out. That'll put you on your butt. Those 9%ers will catch you quick. Got Jim Winters here.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim. How you doing? Hello from the Indiana Dunes. Griffin 450 number 3. A Triumph Bonneville. Steve McQueen limited edition. Enjoying a Wolford Reserve after a long ride to Michigan. That sounds like a great time.
Yeah, and a fitting beverage.
Yes. What about this one, Richard?
We got John Strawdog. Good to see you back on Halcyon 250 number 769 on the New Hampshire seacoast. Good to see you. We got Mark Carmichael, which is not a name that do you recognize that name?
No, Mark, is this your first Ramble stream?
Maybe he's been a lurker. Greetings from Lexington, Kentucky. Future owner of Halcyon 250 number 1210. Welcome to the Ramble stream. He's already with the program, though. We haven't even told people what you're supposed to do.
Man.
I mean, there's a ribbon down at the bottom. And what is he sipping on? He is sipping on a cherry lime soda.
That's a wild soda flavor.
Tell me, Mark, do you like Ale 81?
What?
We'll see if he comments. It's a drink that's from Kentucky.
Okay.
I know because my family's from Kentucky.
Yeah, my family is also from Kentucky.
You've never had Ale 81?
No idea what that
Ale
is.
81 is like slightly decarbonated, kind of weak ginger ale.
So it's flat ginger ale.
No, it's Ale 81, and their motto is a late one. I think I've actually mentioned this before.
No, he says. No, he's never had it.
Oh, well.
That sounds crazy. It sounds like someone took some ice and poured out a glass of ginger ale, but left it out for too long.
No. It's not. I'm giving it a kind of hyperbolic explanation. Anyway, I'm Richard Worsham, founder and designer here at Janus Motorcycles. I have a new addition to my garage.
It is the dorkiest thing I've ever seen, by far.
I ride a Halcyon 250 number 68. Is dorky?
No.
A Halcyon 2018 Halcyon 250 number 68, which we will be talking about tonight. So I'm not going to go too much more into that. The Kawasaki KLR 650 09. And
what else, Richard? Tell
the people. 1980 Cushman Truckster that I picked up on Saturday.
We should have thrown a picture up.
Yeah, we should. Well, do some research. This one is a kind of a rare model that comes with a van body. So it's not just like a meter maid. So
it's so cool. I want one.
It has a 2-cylinder opposed air-cooled. I think it's like pretty big displacement. It's like 600 or 700 cc, but it only has 18 horsepower, 3-speed. And I've been ripping around town. It has it's a 3-wheeled truck, and it has a leading link front fork.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool, right?
The seat
is also the engine hatch.
Well, it looks like a 2x4 wrapped in a piece of foam.
It might be.
Is what it looks like the seat back. It's something else. It's really cool. My name is Jansen. I'm broadcasting live as well from TT here in Goshen. I ramble in a Tesla. That's my spiel. That's all I've got. We are so glad to see you guys. Glad you're tuning in to the Ramblestream. Again, feel free to make comments, say hi.
Gary says, coming down to Janus on Thursday to pick up Griffin 250, number 163.
Ooh, 163. That's a new addition. I can't remember. Does he have a Phoenix? He does. He just got a Phoenix.
Yes. I think he may have
Just got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think what my soul needs, what my spirit needs, Richard, to kind of take me off of this roller coaster is some poetry.
All right. We're going to go back to Mr. Richmond Lattimore from his book Sestina for a Far Off Summer. And this one is called St. Demetrius and St. George. You got to remember this guy's a translator of epic Greek poetry.
So what you're telling me is I'm not going to understand this.
No.
Okay.
I mean, this is a theme.
Okay.
Twin iconographies. The two young horsemen rear their mounts above two fallen dark antagonists. Each has his victim stuck on a down-driven spear. St. George has pinned a dragon form who flails and twists in snakish sprawl. Demetrius, in the other frame, kills an unhappy-looking bearded warrior. Rider spears prey. The composition is the same. Our fiends, their fallen, and our saintly calendar, their acts. Their history, our hope, and still they ride against the reptile rancor and the armored force of fury, martyr and knight-errant side by side. Each spears his destined terror from a heaving horse. Dimitri, the first. The outer Frank, or Turk, lies still. The poisonous snakes inside, too hard for me to kill.
Wow.
We have it.
I feel very calm. I feel centered. I feel one with.
You feel aligned?
I feel very aligned.
Great.
That's great.
I think that probably has something to do with the subject matter. All right.
Thank you for that, Richard. Now we are on to everyone's favorite segment, brought to you by Mitch McLean. It's Builds of the Week time. You're going to have to bear with me here because I somehow got rid of the browser. I don't like in midstream. I don't know how I did that. It's actually kind of impressive, but we're here. We're doing it. Coming to you live from the people. Okay. Got a little sneak peek there. Let's get rid of Gary's comment here. This is Halcyon number 1,000, or Halcyon 250 number 1,189.
Very good.
This motorcycle is going to Pierce in Washington.
Okay. So we've obviously got a black chassis.
See if it's frame match. My favorite dad joke. Thank you. Oh, book rag. What? I think we should ignore that one.
Maybe it's out of order.
There it is. Yeah. A little bit out of order.
Wiring harness going in.
That's pretty cool.
Ooh, nice little photo of the fender. So these are obviously skirted fenders. Black with, is that copper I'm seeing? Or is that orange?
I want to say it's orange.
I need a better monitor. Whoa. Wow.
I don't know what
That's
that
really
is.
Cool. Whatever it is. Maybe when in the other pictures we'll see better.
Maybe it was just lighting. Hi, Brent. I think Brent's watching.
Yeah, he's watching the stream.
I don't know.
Whoa, it looks like orange. That's orange. Yeah, that's orange.
That's pretty cool.
Pierce, forgive us if we're wrong, but that is a really cool. I'm not sure I've seen that combination. Yeah, the camera and the screen are throwing us off.
I thought I saw like almost a design within the Janus logo a little bit.
Anyway, we have a lovely Halcyon 250 black primary color with a shocking pinstriping color that looks really cool. It's got go to that one where it's finished, or that one where you're right there. Skirted fenders. We've got incandescent headlight. We've got oxblood seat, book rack. Keep going.
That's the last. That's the last one. Yeah.
So we don't have the exhaust on it, but really unique.
That orange shocked me. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I don't have a single clue. It looked great. All right, now we've got Halcyon 250 number 1196. This is Kenneth's, and it's going to Utah. I take that back. This is actually Robert's.
Okay.
This is Halcyon 250 number 1198. It's going to California.
And this is a great shot. This is actually the rack you see it on here is how they come from our Amish fabrication shop.
Getting some
grab handle. There's the engine ready to go. And that is the engine that's going in his bike. There we have it coming together. Fork components. Handlebars.
Oh, skipping.
Seat. We got.
Is that a wide line?
Wide line. Shocks are on there. Top plate.
Very detailed pictures.
Brushed exhaust.
Oh, but we got a sneak peek, maybe.
Oh yeah, we got a Charlevoix blue.
Ooh, with the gold
and saddle brown leather.
Man, I feel like we were like unbuilt bike, built bike. Real quick. Gosh, that okay.
The wide line seats, I really like the way they look. Just the profile is really nice.
I agree, but I was gonna say something about that blue.
Go for it. You don't like it?
I don't like it. Huh. I'm not saying that it's not. It's just not a good color for me, right? I just like every time I look at it, I think that's nice, but I don't know if I would pick that.
I grew up with a vintage Volkswagen Bug in
what's it that color?
Baby blue, and it was such a cool color.
I will say, this color goes well on a couple things: basses, guitars. Old cars,
and the inside of a Boston Whaler.
Yes, that was gonna be. You stole the words right out of my mouth, Richard. That's exactly it. All right, the beautiful bike, Robert.
Except for the color, according to Jansen.
No, your color's good. To each their own. Get after it. You know, this one now. This one is Kenneth's. It's going to Utah. It's Halcyon 250 number 1196. Frame still here. Lots of angles. Shocks going on. No polished fence. Whoa, hey.
Vintage red. Gold pinstripe, single pinstripe, and this is Kenneth?
Yes.
Kenneth has opted for the feather logo in gold.
It's like a fire truck.
It's not. The vintage red is really nice because it doesn't scream when you see it in person. Mm-hmm. Fire. If you get the like cardinal red with gold, it's like fire truck. Red. Right. Or like Santa Claus.
I think what it is for me is the gold on the vintage red that just makes it feel fire trucky.
Classic.
Some knobby tires too.
Knobby tires, yeah. And no book rack. Real sleek and slim. Nice.
That's a good looking motorcycle.
Headlight visor.
In case you didn't know, that's bike number 1196.
He didn't get a number plate. That's why we have to put the tag on there.
So I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. No number plate.
Kenneth, if you're here, what was the thought process behind not getting a good Lord.
Don't do that. Jansen is trying to like cut out the stream right in the middle.
I don't know what's happening to me today. I wonder what the decision was for not getting the pedestrian splitter, the number plate on it. I like it. I think it's sick. Looks red to me, Kelly says. Highway bars. What about highway bars, Chris? Steve Q says the red. What do we call it? What's our red?
Vintage red?
No, the other red.
Cardinal red.
Cardinal red is red.
Oh yeah. And it's then somebody actually says on there, "You sure that's not cardinal red?" And I said, "Yes, that's definitely vintage red." Unless this monitor is just completely.
I think it's the monitor, man. We're just shooting
ourselves
in the foot.
What we're saying is we need a new monitor for the Ramblestream.
I think we are saying that. I think it's coming soon, hopefully. Vintage red and gold pinstripe was a popular color in Indian motorcycles. The 1920s and 30s. Looks gorgeous. I agree, Gary.
And it kept on going. I mean, up to the 40s and 50s. I think they still. It's what Indian. When you think Indian, that's the colors.
Those are the colors.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, that's a gorgeous looking bike.
Passes the Jansen test.
It passes the Jansen test, but it literally means nothing. So do whatever your heart desires. I don't know what I would do, but I don't matter. It's your motorcycle. I'm not riding it. You know? Richard, do you want to start talking about 68?
Yeah, it's the thing of the world. We're talking about the thing tonight is going to be number 68. Did you get the link I sent you?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Well, why don't you go ahead and pull that up?
It's going to, I need a second here to
It's okay.
pull it up.
I'm going to start talking. So number 68 is a 2018 Halcyon 250 that we originally built as a demo. And right here you have Richard Worsham in a previous era. This is what, 8 years ago? Posing next to 68. This is in anticipation of leaving for the cross-country trip. This was not my bike at this point. This was just another demo that we chose to ride cross-country. I had not developed the deep connection that I since have.
The spiritual connection with this motorcycle.
But here it is. You can see we were not making, Durant was not making our fenders at this point. These are roll form fenders from we got up in Elkhart. And we decided to take this on a cross-country trip. And that's really the kind of the start of the story for number 68.
So were you planning on, like, why 68? Was it just one of the only
It's just
demo
one
bikes
of the demo bikes we had.
there?
It was ready for it. It
Yeah.
was like a good, we didn't have that many demos at that point either.
Yeah.
We crated it up and shipped it out to San Francisco. There it is. I was prepping it for the trip. And so no stickers, no worn pinstripe. There it is.
I'm not used to seeing your panniers without any stickers on them.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of wild.
So I prepared it for the trip, and then we crated it up. Maybe the next, I think I should picture it. Oh, there I am in San Francisco. So maybe these pictures are a little out of order. We shipped it to a buddy in San Francisco who's a moped parts distributor, and this is in his warehouse. He was very gracious and uncrated it for us, and got a picture with Benji. And then I rode around San Francisco a little bit, kind of shaking out the kinks on the bike. Go ahead, next slide. This is a view from the hills above San Francisco, right over
Holy
the bay,
cow.
with 68.
Wow.
And there I am at Lotta's Fountain, which is the center of historic San Francisco. This is when they had the great earthquakes. They were going to this to put out fires. So historic landmark where George Wyman set out on his record-breaking first ride across the United States on a motorized vehicle. And that bicycle, it looks like a bicycle next to the 68, we believe, George Wyman's motorcycle.
Now, I can say I believe this was Abraham Lincoln's mug.
Well, you should go look up the story. There's some pretty compelling evidence that
Is
it is. There's been some historical work that they've done. George Wyman's granddaughter, I believe, has put a lot of work into it. This guy is the owner. But anyway, it's a 225cc California motorcycle from 1902, and he rode across country in 1903, so it was a year old when he left. And we retraced his route across the country. If you'd like to learn more about that, we have a whole video series on it. And we actually released a video today on number 68. So I won't spend too much time going over it. If you have questions, we should keep the question thing open, and people can actually engage a little more, because you can go back and watch the video that was just released today.
We recommend you go watch the video.
Yep.
It was I watched it, and it was good. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to hear about all the stories and different reasonings for the different little things. I also like how you attached your panniers.
Nice. So here I am. This is on the zigzag hills in San Francisco. Let's keep going.
Yeah. What makes 68 to you? Does that question make sense? Besides the number
makes
plate?
it the bike. Oh, it's really
like,
just
what is is it just all the experiences that?
Oh, it's mostly that, and the fact that it has kind of got, over the years, just embedded a lot of those stories and the scratches and the dents and the wear and I can feel when the way that bike handles. I just know it. I mean, every Janus motorcycle is just a tiny little bit different,
right?
And I know that bike really well. So here, this is just a picturesque little spot somewhere in Wyoming, and then there
it looks like a Wyoming.
Yeah, right. Medicine Bow is the name of that town. And here I am in New York. This is where George Wyman ended his ride, and there was scaffolding up. I got to ride right into Manhattan. And this is the Iron Butt Association award I got when they actually made me a Iron Butt member for doing this ride.
Oh, nice.
The president, Michael Nemone, we had dinner with him in Illinois on the way across, and they were all really impressed, because I was trying to keep up with Gold Wings and BMWs the whole time.
Right.
It's a fun story. And then I've done some more iron butt rides after that. I kind of kept on going. So this is one where we rode.
The addiction started.
The addiction started going around Lake Michigan with a friend of mine. Here we are going on another iron butt ride down to New Orleans. This is probably one of the most fun IBA rides I did. 2 Halcyon 250s. What?
IBA is really close to IBS, and they both involve butts. That's why I'm just gonna leave, guys.
Keep going. And here we are in New Orleans. 24 hours later.
Nice.
And there we are. Next slide.
Did you ride straight through?
Yeah, it's an iron butt ride. You got to do it in 24 hours.
You no sleep.
No.
We
had half an hour to spare on this one. The one before, like Michigan, we had 10 minutes.
What?
So we were literally just like, I mean, I won't get into. Incidentally, today is the first day of the Iron Butt Rally 2025. They do them every 2 years. There's a bunch of crazy people right now are off riding to who knows where, putting down over 1,000 miles a day for the next 11 days. Just started. But we're just doing one of those. These guys are doing it for 11 days, and it's a complicated story.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
Insane.
Here we are across from Cafe du Monde in New Orleans, getting our beignets and coffee. Keep going. And then, I mean, every year I take it up to Michigan and destroy some pumpkin. No, go and have fun up there.
68 kind of seems like a pet. Like as I'm looking
at
these
dog.
Pictures, I'm hearing you talk about it.
I had to pick carefully. Here we are on the set of Orange County Choppers Reborn with Paul Tuttle Sr. checking out 68. We were supposed to just show him we brought him at 450, and then he wanted to see, because I was talking about 68, he wanted to see it, and he really liked it. It was really cool.
I mean, how could you not?
Right? There we are on Janus bikes. This episode will air, I think, this fall.
Nice. Yeah, if you guys want to know more about the Iron Butt Association rides or rally, or what is it called?
Iron Butt Association Saddle Store 1000s.
Yeah,
I look up the Iron Butt Association.
There's a link in the description that takes you right there. So if you guys want to check that out,
link, is that the one I sent you?
That's the one.
That is the link to this year's rally reports. So if you want to check how the rally's going, click that link. It's really cool.
So like, what's the craziest? Like, there's a minimum amount of miles, right, in 24 hours.
Well, so to be a member, you have to document 1,000 miles in 24 hours with receipts and signatures. It's kind of complicated. They have a new app, I think, that's going to make it easier. I liked it manually writing it all out, but I have little folders.
I'm shocked.
Cabinet back here. I was just looking at actually that from all my receipts for the ride. It's really cool.
That's okay. Yeah, that's cool to have something to look back on.
Yeah,
especially after the ride's done. I feel like that kind of stuff is described as the fun you never want to have again, but you kind of keep doing it again.
Yeah. I'd do it again. If I did it again, I don't think I'd do a 250 just because it's just so, like, I could easily not have. We could have been one thing gone wrong, and you wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
So on a 450 or a larger bike, you just have a little more wiggle room,
right?
And you probably would have a little more fun.
That makes sense.
I don't know. I mean, we had a blast.
I don't know. I think if you did it,
we had the question up here. Chris338 says wheel bearings, and I think what he's asking is just on number 68. What here there's another one.
No,
the last couple of.
He's asking. He's answering a question from Steven here.
Okay. Steven says the last couple of rides, my 450 has developed a slight wobble at around 50. Any advice on how to address 8,100 miles, tires replaced at 6,800? I think you should call our sales team, and because there could be a variety of issues that could cause a bike to. It could be anything from tire pressure to wheel bearings to your fork pivots, steering head bearings. Give us a call. We can help you out.
Yeah, our service team will be able to help you out real quick.
On that note, though, probably interesting to kind of talk about on 68 is it's been. I think at this point I've gone through 4 different speedometers, not because they broke them, but because we also use this bike to test things out. It has so many of the parts on it are prototype parts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The only issue I had was going over the Sierras. It was not broken in. I was not watching the engine, and I did run very low on oil. You got to imagine I'm going fully loaded with all my gear, including me, all my riding gear,
wide open,
2 extra gallons of gas, wide open over a mountain range, and I did fill it up with oil, and then it just didn't. I didn't care about it for a while, and then on the New Orleans trip, I developed this very strange noise, kind of whirring noise. Just one more thing to worry about.
Right.
When I got back, another 2,000 miles later, one of the countershaft bearings it had been oil starved at some point, and it would just finally was complaining. So John Schwarzenegger helped replace that.
Oh, John.
And there was one kind of funny story on the cross country trip where I didn't put the right bolts hardware in and the intake fell off.
Classic.
That was my fault. I've broken some spokes.
Potholes?
Overloading the bike and probably potholes.
Okay.
And basically that's it.
That's impressive.
It takes a little maintenance. I do oil change every year. I adjust the valves, although in recent years, the valve adjustments just haven't really been necessary. It's pretty well broken in.
Settled.
Everybody jokes because 68's the idle on 68. You can turn it down really low. It's just like bump, 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 bump.
I'm still alive, but I'm barely breathing.
No, it's great. It's such a smooth motor.
David Hyde asks, are those auxiliary gas tanks on your back racks?
Yes, they are. Those are Rotopack fuel cans. They clip on in a really easy manner. Highly recommend them. We're working on some upgrades for those. Not really too much, but
I've seen some stuff floating around here as of late involving.
Stay
those.
tuned.
Let's see. Lynn says, I just got tickets for Saturday's Discovery Day. Looking forward to it.
Wonderful.
Nice.
We look forward to seeing you. Let's end it on that for 68. We can dial. We're going to talk about 250s and Ramble. So we can, if you have any other questions on 68 or 250s, keep them coming. Please post them up in the comments. We'd love to hear them.
We'll get to them as we can.
When you all ask questions, it helps answer other people's questions because we have 63 people viewing, but over the next 3 or 4 days, typically 500 people,
500, 600
usually watch one of these streams. So if you ask questions, everybody else gets to see that. So go for it.
Yeah. So even if you don't have a Janus, or even if you don't ramble, if you're just hanging out, which would be crazy. Hello. Go ahead and ask your questions if you're curious. There's no stupid question. I'm here, so I'll ask all those for you.
We got news and events.
Yeah. Let's skip the comments this week because we've got a decent amount of news. This segment is brought to you by Janus Motorcycles.
Thank you. Next Monday, it's going to be a packed right before Ramblestream. I'm going to have Jansen help set up because it goes from 5 to 6:30. We have Wolfert Distilling.
Should we do it? We'll talk about it later. Wolfert,
he's been on the owner of Wolfert has been on the Ramblestream. They are coming to Janus Motorcycles next Monday night. We're gonna have an event at 5 to 6:30 where they're unveiling their Wolfert Reserve limited edition Janus motorcycle. That's going to be a 450. This is the picture of the fuel tank with the logo on there. Looks really good.
That's nice.
And it's going to be a tasting and a really fun event. So we
get your gums numb, the whole thing.
If you are in the area or if you're not, please consider joining us next Monday at the end of the day. We look forward to seeing you.
Yeah. Super, super exciting.
I was on a podcast last Tuesday. It was a Joe Rogan length, 2.5 hour podcast.
Holy.
And we covered the entire history of Janus Motorcycles, my history, motorcycling, rambling, 250s, the whole story.
Wow.
That will be coming out on June 23rd, which is next Tuesday.
Yes.
Next Tuesday. So stay tuned. That's on. Did you put that link in the comments?
That link is also.
That link is in the description. Check it out. Moto Adventurer. He's actually been here for Discovery Day. Really cool guy who really mostly features adventure bikes.
Yeah.
But wanted to talk about Janus. So
that's cool.
It was a really fun conversation.
Yeah.
This week we also have a YouTuber coming into town on Thursday, Bug Moto. The link to his YouTube channel is in the description as well. He's like a rambler. So we've been kind of watching his videos for a while. A lot of his videos are just like over the handlebars, him talking.
That's sick.
He rides, I think, a Triumph and a Moto Guzzi. He'll be riding a Moto Guzzi this week. And we'll be reviewing the Janus bikes and giving us his thoughts. Do we have one last thing on that?
Revzilla?
Oh, and tomorrow we have Greg from Revzilla. Revzilla is a parts supplier, but they also have a really cool, like they've kind of taken over as like motorcycle news. It's called the Common Tread, and he writes for Common Tread. He will be in town. They want to feature scramblers, so he's going to be riding and reviewing the whole Griffin line. So we've been prepping our Griffin demos for riding.
Goo. He's not riding.
He's actually
Goo,
riding
is he?
Goal. Go1. We've been making sure that it's representative of the latest production bikes.
Cool.
Charles Rogers says, "What is the weight limit of the 250 and 450?" Oh my gosh, it's enough. 500.
It's a lot.
565 for the, I want to say, for the 250. That's rider. That's gross vehicle weight rating, and then 750 for the 450 gross vehicle weight rating. So
yeah. Kelly asks, the new Speedo, do they show RPM and speed?
They do. Yeah. One of the things that I was really adamant about is an analog tachometer. If we're going to have a tach, which you need on the 450, not so much on the 250, it needs to be analog. There's nothing worse than a digital tachometer. It just doesn't make any sense. You can't read it. The speed is not as important. What? Well, you read it. Teslas don't even have RPMs.
Yeah, my XSR 900 had a.
But it probably swung. It went back and
it was like a little bar.
It pretended to be analog.
Yeah.
So they still have to do that.
Oh, are you saying like when it's just like a number?
A number doesn't.
Yeah.
The speed is a digital number, because speed is like, who cares? It's just you just look at that so that you make sure you're not getting pulled over.
Right.
Because you can be pulled over so easily on a Janus. You're always speeding.
Always just flying down the roads. This is an interesting question. Can the frame be wrapped with transparent PPF? Are you asking from the factory? If so, no.
But we have had customers use I thought it was is it PPF? I don't know whatever the.
It's like the protection film.
It's a film. We have had customers wrap their tins with it, and it's worked out really well. It's fairly expensive to do, but they've had to do it independently. We do not offer that from Janus, but you can have that done.
You can definitely do that.
And it is a great way to protect the bike.
James. Is that James? Is that?
James.
Yeah, James with an N.
Janus.
It might.
Says tubeless tires. We use spoked wheels, and that unless you want to go with some kind of wacky tubeless spoked rim converter system, pretty much eliminates that possibility.
Yeah. Charles says, good to hear.
330 pounds. Yeah, you'll be fine.
You'll be more than fine.
I've well overloaded the bikes. Enrique sent me an email over the weekend with some pictures from El Salvador. He rambles with a 400cc bike.
Oh, cool.
He sent me a bunch of pictures, and he said, anytime I find myself in El Salvador, which, could happen.
Often.
He'll have a loaner bike and will put me up.
Sure.
And show me all around.
So looks like
when
I want
to go to El Salvador.
Like you're going to El
Salvador.
Salvador.
Enrique, thank you so much. That's so generous. And when I get to El Salvador, I will definitely give you a call.
I love all the 250 questions because we're talking about the 250 today. And really
we're already doing it.
There's not much more to that plan other than we're talking about the 250 and why we love it so much and how fun it is to ride and the reasoning behind 250. So all these 250 questions are great. Keep going. Your Charles, 450 questions coming as well.
Charles says, do I need to get there's one question. He has a comment before that he says, I'm getting a set of the skirted fenders. I currently have the saddlebag bracing over the rear fender. I want to be able to convert back to a clean rear fender. Do I need to get a pair of plain rear fender braces to swap out? Yes. If you don't want the little fender loop or the bag loop.
Yeah.
I think we still sell just the Solo, where we're kind of moving in the direction of having all the bikes have the little loop, but you might want to consider that if you want that clean look.
Yeah.
Give our sales team a call. Off the top of my head, I don't know the answer.
Texas Rebel Tracy asks, is there any advantage to replacing the stock chain on the Halcyon 250 with an O-ring or an X-chain?
Yes. X-ring or O-ring chains do not require the same level of maintenance. However, one of the things I didn't realize is just how much horsepower they draw.
Really?
Especially on a low horsepower bike.
It's because they stretch?
No, it's basically there's an O-ring or an X-ring in between every single link, and they have a slight amount of friction on them, and so it's just a little bit harder to bend the chain.
Really?
And it will actually like take off a noticeable amount of power.
Huh.
So something to keep in mind. I have run X-ring, and I run one on my KLR, and it's only 36 horsepower, and I haven't really noticed much.
You can really feel it.
Yep. I have not felt it. But, is the digital speed readable in bright sunlight? Sorry, I'm jumping around.
You're good.
Because you can't read the digital display on the current speedometers. I have not had any trouble with the new COSO. It's actually considerably larger as well.
It's a chunky boy.
Yeah, I have not had any trouble.
Yeah.
So my answer is yes, Gary.
Marvin is a follow-up question. Can you ship the bike disassembled to my detail guy so my detail can wrap the parts?
We do not ship bikes unassembled. We've thought about that as like a kit, but the liability is just we really need to be the ones assembling it. At least the first time. You can take it apart, and that's what most of our customers have done. Is they have taken the tins apart, and it's relatively straightforward to do that.
Yeah, to kind of get to the root of the question, are you worried about damage on your frame? Because I mean, looking at a lot of the bikes in the shop, unless you want to keep it in absolute prime show. Like,
the frame I wouldn't worry about. It's the tins that you might want to consider.
The fenders
covering.
and the tank, like that's what I would be worried about.
And the most successful one of those PFF or whatever it's called, PPF,
paint protection film.
It was just a film on top of the tank and on the top of the fenders.
Yeah. So not even there's no need for it to be under the fenders. Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Fernando says the new speedometer reads good in daylight, a little hard when wearing polarized glasses as it displays depending on the angle.
Okay.
That's fair. That's some good feedback.
Thank you, Fernando.
Yeah, that's some good feedback. Kelly says warranty issues. Yeah, I don't know if we could offer a warranty on a kit bike. I wonder how kit planes, I wonder how they get away with that, huh? You have a blast riding in El Salvador.
Awesome.
Yeah, you have to go now.
Yeah, I do.
I think it's required.
Well, we'll make it happen.
Bring a couple GoPros, make a ride video out of it. It's for business. What do you like about why 250? There was a jump from 50cc into the 250 kind of category. Why?
First, we decided to go with the 450. Really, around the time that we first had the idea, around the time that after the Jay Leno episode, because he had some really great criticism and constructive criticism and comments on the 250, especially because he lives in LA, a suburb of LA, and you really do have to get on the highway a lot. And so we wanted a bike that could manage the highway. And when you go that much faster, 85 miles an hour, say, you need your suspension. Right. And you want a bike maybe a little bit heavier than the 250, just for stability.
Yeah.
But
why?
That's why.
Why from 50cc to 250? What was the reason for that?
For the 250?
Yeah.
The reason for that was more emissions.
Yeah.
The 50 was a two-stroke, and two-strokes can put out significantly more power than a comparable 450. They're firing on every stroke rather than every other stroke. And so this is not universally the case, but they can often it's easier to get them to put out more power. And so a 50cc is really more equivalent to a 125.
Okay.
4-stroke. And there was no way we were going to get through EPA testing with a two-stroke. It just wasn't going to happen.
So you're telling me if there's an alternate universe where, for whatever reason, 2 strokes could pass emission testing, there wouldn't be any 4-stroke Janus motorcycles.
Yes. I'm a 2-stroke devotee. And I don't know if we would ever have made the switch. We'd be at a 250 2-stroke.
That's ripping fast.
Yeah. Or, can you imagine a 500 2-stroke?
It's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
I don't like 2-strokes. They're
Oh
scary. They're so scary.
They're so much fun. No, I actually really like the 4-stroke.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about 4-strokes until we started, getting through EPA with one, and I learned a lot real quick.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we knew that we needed to go through EPA, and the smallest 4-stroke that we even considered was not a 125.
Right.
It was a 250.
Yeah.
Low powered 250, under, detuned so that it's very reliable.
Right.
And the reason that I still like the 250, I still have a sweet spot in my heart for a 50, but it's not as practical.
Right.
Is that the 250? Our rambling philosophy, getting the most out of the bike for the kind of riding that I do, which is very occasional long distance rides.
Yeah, just to New Orleans in 24 hours. It's no biggie.
But mostly it's around town.
Yeah.
Or short, excursions out into the countryside or camping trips. You can enjoy the entire motorcycle.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched, I did a video with Jordan a month or two ago, a virtual test ride on the 250. That is I'm what is the word? Describing the ride live while I'm riding it and talking about the characteristics of the 250. And I talk a lot about downshifting. Downshifting is one of my favorite things to do on a motorcycle. Just because you're so engaged with the motor, you have to have your timing and all the stuff we talk about, being in the zone with rambling. I just get the most out of the 250. Nothing against the 450. The 450 is so much more capable.
Yeah.
When I rode up the California coast last year, I think it was last year now, I really appreciated having the 450. It was really nice because I could really get on the interstate.
Well,
and just
especially
haul.
when you have the 250 to compare it to.
Yeah.
I would imagine in that environment strictly, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah. But
I mean, as even if you're if it's a first bike, a 250 is really good. If it's a fifth bike, it's really good because it's another option that you really can't find anywhere else.
Right.
It's just a great kind of experience. It's a fun experience.
It's just
you get a lot out of it.
It's such a sweet spot of you can kind of rip and be okay.
Yeah, you can literally pin the throttle every single gear, and the police, you're not gonna have blue lights behind you.
Right. Or accidental power wheelies.
Right.
Not doing that either.
You're not doing that either.
I don't know. However, going back to the 50
pop a wheelie
cc,
on 250.
I've also seen someone accidentally do someone from the shop accidentally do a wheelie on one of the 50 cc's. Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like a bucking bronco. Those things are crazy.
Don't drop the clutch on a 50.
Question for 250 owners. What fuel range are you getting before having to flip to reserve? I just hit 100 miles for the first time ever. And
we should let people comment on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of curious what everyone's experience is.
It's a little different for every rider. Depends on how you ride.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of
the comments.
A lot of comments about the speedometer.
A really interesting alternative for a single instrument bike, and something that maybe someone familiar with the wiring and function could put to work on a Halcyon 250.
Yeah, I think they're talking about the speedometer. I saw a split face dial with two areas.
With two analog gauges. The left side was speed and the right side was RPM, and small LCD display in the bottom was for odometer. Yeah, you could do something like that. I just like the simplicity, kind of like a watch face with the dial centered, and rotating.
Yeah.
And I'm not a purist when it comes to it has to be analog. I love analog because it works.
Right.
And so the RPM was a non-negotiable that would be analog, but I don't have any problem with the digital speedo. I mean, that's one of the things I always kind of sometimes people don't understand. They're like, that's not period correct. I'm like, what period are you talking about?
Hey man, neither are disc brakes. I don't know what you want.
So if you can find another instrument, you should. There actually are some really cool instruments out there that you can retrofit, but
yeah, I think the more that I see people customize their motorcycles, I think that's why I love 68 so much, is because you've taken it and made it your bike. I feel like there might be this fear
of changing it.
Yeah, especially a Janus, because it is so pretty, because it is a piece of art that you can also use and ride.
Yeah.
That people, I feel like, and I'm speaking for you here, so if this isn't true, please tell me. People are almost scared to modify the motorcycle because of that.
Well, don't be. dumpy. I mean, yeah. Kelly, this is a good point. Kelly says, I like the 2 separate dials. And I think I understand. I've heard that comment from some folks. And I think I'm not going to disagree with you. I mean, you can go either way. I really like vintage. Well, they're all vintage now. They're like Vincent's, and they have that one big honking dial.
Uh-huh.
And there's something about a single dial to me. Going back to our moped days, we only had a speedometer on those, and just having that single dial. And I like them really small, but I understand that we need to make them bigger so they're legible.
Right.
And the Vincent was a really big one. Bruff Superior had a big one. But I also don't. What really bugged me about when we launched the 450 initially with the MMB dual was they were so symmetrical.
Yeah.
I didn't like this like 2 cans up here.
Yeah.
And one of the designs I'm actually the most pleased with was when we went from the top plate that was symmetrical for the 250, and then we integrated the key switch, because the key switch used to be down on the side underneath the tank, and we integrated a key switch on this side and an off-center dial single, and that asymmetry it's perfect. And so when we were able to go to this analog tax digital speedo for the 450, I just love it because gradually we've been transitioning. I don't know if you all have noticed, but we've been gradually transitioning now to, well, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the latest version of the 450 top plate, we've taken the key switch from the center and we've offset it.
Nice.
And so those are going to start coming out soon. It's just something that's gradual, and we cannot control exactly when these things happen.
Yeah.
But sort of like our model years, we don't have really model years we do say like 2025 Halcyon or whatever, but it's just a gradual change, and they just gradually improve. But then they also that's something important to talk about the 250.
Yeah.
While we're talking about Janus 250s, is that our 250, we don't have model years really. I mean, yes, you're going to have your bike will be a specific model year,
right?
But we are not in this arms race with another manufacturer to like win customers over every year with like, oh, we got to have a new look.
This feature is new. This thing is new. We're breaking ground.
Instead, we're just working on making it better and better, and and trying to find that balance of what the perfect Halcyon is.
Right. And the only way to do that is by
minute adjustments,
doing it over and over
and over and over and over again,
and over and over again.
Which gets to my interest in the whole idea of Janus. Is that we could easily have made this into a custom. Like we got started making custom bikes.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of bored me, because what gets my juices flowing and what gets the production team's juices flowing is refinement over time. And that's only possible when you produce something multiple times. And there's a balance between like one-off and mass production. What we're trying to find is this balance of like multiple iterations of making something that is identical but perfectly different. Like just like every single bike, you see the builds of the week, they're all different.
I'd be really curious to see if we can collect a model year
That'd be really cool.
From each year, and then as we go down the line, identify each one.
Just don't look at 68 because it'll really confuse you.
Yeah, because that's a Frankenstein bike. But to be able to identify like the differences between them and how slight they are, but how much they actually improve the experience of the bike.
Oh, this is a good comment.
Alicia says, my husband and I are just purchased 2 of the Halcyon 250s. We're counting down the days until they arrive. Do you know what numbers they are?
They should.
I'm very curious. That'll be really fun to ride.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Alicia.
What colors? Do you guys decide what colors either? Did they pick the same colors?
I hope not. That'd be confusing.
That would be which bike is whose? I really like the new Coso Speedo on the Griffin 250 164 analog tech, and the digital Speedo is the way to go.
Awesome. All right. Well, we got at least one person in our court.
Perfect.
He likes the asymmetry.
I want to go back to some of the MPG responses here. Where'd they go? Oh, here's Gary Smith. I get 54 miles per gallon on my Halcyon 250. The reserve kicks in around 72 to 75 miles. That is very exact.
Yeah. Gary knows. I get a little different. My fuel economy on the 250, that's more like what I get on a 450.
Mm-hmm.
On the 250, I get around. I mean, it depends on if you're like wide open throttle.
Right.
On a wide open throttle like iron butt ride, that's about what I get.
Yeah.
But around town, I'm seeing 60 to 65 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, there's a lot of concerns about fuel capacity, but in reality, with the type of riding that you do with the 250s, especially, you don't really need more than that.
You could always have more, but
Right.
we really it's always a balance.
Yeah,
I'm kind of sounding like I need to stop saying balance because
it's a balance.
everything is a balance.
It's all a balance. You got to make
I'm
sacrifices.
actually balancing right now.
Lo-Fi says, I'm just shy of 500 miles on a Halcyon 250, and I found somewhere around 70 miles. The bike seems to want the reserve to run smoothly. Yeah.
All right.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, hills. I get 55 miles per gallon in the hills of San Francisco, up to 70 out in the open. Griffin 250, number 124, with the Motor Cold Stage 3. 9,000 miles so far.
Sweet. Way to go,
awesome.
Charles.
Let's see. Do we have any more mileage questions here or comments?
Mark Carmichael says, any chance for a 250 mini floorboard instead of pegs? Once we figure out the system, which we are working on, I know it's taking a long time. We're starting with the 450 because it's just more ready for floorboards, I think, than the 250. It won't be hard to come up with the 250 ones, but we're still working on it.
Man, so many comments. Holy cow. I changed the bulbs on the blinkers and brake for LEDs.
Nice.
That's some customization right there. Rich, remember, I'm fat, so the bike has to work harder for me. 250 fuel requirement is it 87 octane or 89 octane? Just want to make sure.
It's whatever you can put in it. That's what my philosophy is.
Yeah.
I put like the lowest grade octane in mine, but, and this is a big but, if you don't ride a lot, that's not true. You should put ethanol free in it, especially before you put it away for a month or more.
Yeah.
I cannot reiterate this enough. It's a carbureted bike. If you're storing it or you're like, treat your gas, use ethanol free. It's just like a lawnmower. I mean, I hate to say that but that's really the only place people are familiar with carburetors these days.
Right.
Or a vintage car. Ethanol free if you're not riding a lot. If you ride it a lot like me, you can put anything you want there. It is a very low compression engine. So that's the reason that high octane prevents pre-detonation. So high compression engines is why they have ethanol or higher octane. In fact, I don't even know if high octane fuel doesn't have ethanol in it. I think it still has ethanol in it.
Right.
So if you're the only line I draw on the 450 or the 250 is ethanol free fuel if you're storing it.
Yeah.
And that does not have to do with the way the engine runs. It has to do with when it stopped.
When it stops, so it doesn't gum up.
It doesn't
and get
gum
all
up your carb.
Gross in the carb. That makes sense.
But if you're out on a ride and you can't find anything, just put the regular gas in there.
Put gas in it.
Yeah.
I try to always put ethanol free in mine.
That's fine. Good for you. That's great.
To each their own. I think everyone has their different quirks and everyone wants to treat their machine differently. And
ethanol free will not hurt it. It's great. It's a good thing.
It's good news. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other questions. Okay. So started with the Halcyon 250. I'm curious about, did the Phoenix 450 came out not too long after?
No, the Phoenix was first.
It was first. That makes sense. Coming from the Paragon.
Yep. No. So
Paragon,
Halcyon
Halcyon
50.
Phoenix.
And then we had always meant to make the Phoenix. The Phoenix was actually designed as the 50. We had a 50cc version. We never were able to build it.
Yeah.
Because we were two guys literally doing everything.
Right.
So when we launched the 250, we're like, now we get to make the Phoenix because we've always wanted to do this. And it was the first one we had running.
That's cool.
And the first one was several different colors before we produced the second one.
Before you landed.
And then very shortly thereafter, I mean, we're talking like weeks, the Halcyon came out.
Yeah.
But the Phoenix 250 was the first 250.
And then the Griffin 250.
And the Griffin was then like a year or two later.
Yeah. Let's see. We got to tune in from Paul Ramble on. Hi guys, Miller High Life, Central Indiana, former owner of Halcyon 250 number 542, waiting on production of Halcyon 450 number 405 to begin.
Awesome.
Nice ball. Did you trade in Halcyon 250 number 542 for your 450? Curious about that. Yeah, I always think it's interesting that the Halcyon is the best-selling model. Because I like the Griffin the most out of all the models. But again, remember, my opinion means nothing, especially with colors. I like the Griffin the most. I think it's the most utilitarian, and I think it's the best looking. But hey, who am I?
I mean, I really have fallen in love with the Griffin 450.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like when we were coming out with the 450, I wrote a two-part blog post on the whole concept of a scrambler.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like the idea of a scrambler or a dual sport motorcycle, it kind of is in some ways the perfect rambling machine.
Yeah.
Because you can like stop and say, "Ooh, what's up that road?"
That's a nice dirt trail.
And maybe that road doesn't have a pavement, or
especially in northern Indiana.
in lots of places.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do some crazy things on a Halcyon.
Yeah.
Like Charlie has proven.
Yeah.
And that's what old-fashioned ADV riding was just taking a stock machine and doing crazy stuff.
Going for it. Taking a Halcyon 450 up that mountain is actually insane.
Yeah. But a dual sport Reisenduro, I don't know how that's pronounced, but Reisenduro, dual sport, all the different words we can use for a scrambler is they're pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. What is, if someone is looking to get a 250 right now, what is your biggest advice on how to select which model?
A 250?
Yes.
Well, if you want something that's completely unique that you won't be able to buy anywhere else and that just is absolutely striking, the Halcyon is really, that's what it does. It's just so unique looking.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we've made the most of them. It is the one that the most refinement has gone into. It doesn't mean that the Phoenix and the Griffin aren't like awesome bikes that all the stuff we learn on the Halcyon goes into, but it's just that model. Talking about that iteration thing we were saying earlier, it's just there are more upgrades and options available for it because we have more customers that want them on that bike. If you want a bike that really gives you this feeling of being like a lightweight, kind of like you almost don't feel like you're even riding anything at all, the Phoenix is incredible. It's not, I mean, it's obviously it's a 250. It's not a sport bike. Mm-hmm. It doesn't go super fast. It does go like, you can go faster on that than a Halcyon. Yeah. It's got rear suspension. You can tuck down on it. Beautiful. But to me, Grant describes it as like a bottle rocket that you're riding because you're kind of like, just like, you don't even see the bike. You're
Hold on.
Flying.
Good luck.
And then the Griffin, a lot of people who've ridden both the Griffin 250 and 450 off-road just love the little 250 because it's so light. It makes someone who's not used to riding off-road have a really good time. Yeah. It's just, falling over isn't even really a problem because you can just put your foot down. Right. And if you do drop it, it's super easy to pick up. Right. So yeah, they're all different, different appeal.
Gary says,
kind of my intro there.
Gary says, my philosophy is that you just have to get one of each.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. What does he say? I took Texas Rebel says, I took my 250 to the mechanic for a tire issue, and the owner of the shop told me it was about the coolest motorcycle that had ever been in a shop.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
That is really cool.
I'm just seeing if we missed any comments here. Jansen, finally a note we agree on. Wait, what are you talking about? The Griffin? Non-ethanol for my... What are you talking about, old school? I'm glad that we can agree on something, but I just don't have a single clue what it is. I want to end on a good question. Who's got a good question for us? Richard, do you have a good question that you're thinking of that you can ask the people and to leave them with?
That's a good question.
Okay. From Jim.
Okay.
Will some of the Griffin 450 suspension upgrades make it to the Griffin 250?
Yes. That will probably be sometime. But we're looking at everything we learn from what we do. I mean, just like the 450 Halcyon has influenced the new Halcyon 250s. Mm-hmm. I certainly look forward to seeing what the the 450, what we really worked on with the Griffin was making it more off-road capable.
Yeah.
And trying to make it something that would, not be, it's not a dirt bike, but could hold its own at least with a DR.
Yeah.
We have an advantage in doing that, and that it's so light.
Right.
But yeah, we do plan to carry some of the 450 Griffin suspension and off-road ability, let's just say,
right,
to the 250.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, thank you so much. That's all the time we have for today. We will see you next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week to talk about something, to ramble about something. Who knows?
It will be right after the Wolfert event.
Yes.
So.
Whoa. A bourbon drinking event.
Yes. So I'll be in fine form.
We'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in.